Hi, this is David again with freehomebuyingwebinar.com. Good to have you back. This is session number 3. Today we are going to talk about home ownership and the steps to getting there. There are basically 5 steps. The first one is the initial consultation. When you meet with a real estate agent, talk about your wants and your needs. The next is your loan pre-approval. That's getting your finances in order. Then the third one is the fun part, really. It's the home search, the shopping for a home. The fourth step is the purchase and sale agreement, the offer and negotiation of that offer. The fifth step is going through the appraisal and through inspection, the title and escrow, getting to closing, and then getting those keys in your hand. Here is another chart showing the steps for getting from purchasing to closing. Here's another chart. I show you those just simply so that you can see you can make this process as difficult or as simple as you want. I choose to make it simple. There's a lot more to it behind the scenes. But if you'll think in terms of just these 5 steps, you'll be well on your way toward owning your own home. The first step is the initial consultation, where we meet or you meet with an agent and you talk about the payments you would be comfortable with. Make sure that the timing is right for you to buy a home. Find out where you want to live, what areas, what neighborhoods perhaps, and what style and amenities that you would prefer. Know the difference between needs and wants. Needs are bedrooms. You have a certain amount of bedrooms that you need because of the size of your family, or perhaps you also want an office or a guest room or such. A number of bathrooms is a need. The garage, whether you can get by on 1 car and need 2 cars, or perhaps 3 cars and an RV. Everybody's needs differ. It may be one of your needs is to be in a certain school district, and my website will allow you to look for homes within a certain and near a certain school. Very helpful that way. But you may have wants, and I'll throw one out. If you're a gourmet cook, it could be that you need an island in the kitchen, but it may also be that that's a want that you can build in later, or that you can get in your dream home, your move up second home, and so forth. So it's not up to me to tell you what is the difference between your wants and your needs, but you need to discern those and know those as we go through this. The second thing is to beware of short sales. Now, we talked about short sales. What is a short sale? It means that the seller owes more than the home is worth, more than they have on a loan for that home. And so the bank is going to also have to approve this sale, which means it is very much frustrating, time-consuming. And I understand that 40 to 50% of the homes out there today are short sales, but that still leaves a very large inventory of homes. So I suggest for investors, they're great, but for first-time home buyers, it's just too much and too long. And one title representative has told me that they're seeing only 17 to 25% of short sales actually closing. So beware if that's your desire. I help you with that, but I just want you to know the situation. Besides, the market being competitive as it is brings even the non-short sales down in that realm because they have to be competitive to sell. Now, REOs, real estate owned, these are properties that went through the short sale process probably, or in some way the bank now again owns, they now own the property, and so they are offering it for sale. A little bit more work, but not a big deal, and you can get some very good deals on REOs or bank-owned properties. I have lists of these. Be happy to help you with that. It's a great market right now for first-time buyers. Understand, too, that there is no perfect home. I hate to burst your bubble, but that's the way it's going to be. You want the right home for you now. Later, maybe, a better home, but still, no matter what, you will never own the perfect home, not the first time and not later. Even a builder who builds their own home later says, well, I wished I had done this, or I wished they wish for changes. And so there is no perfect home, but you can get the best possible for you at this time. This is a form I use personally when I sit down and talk with you to determine your wants and needs so we can be of one mind and go toward your purchase and ownership of a home. Next, the second step is to get loan pre-approval. Know the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. You can get a pre-qualification on the phone in about 3 or 4 minutes talking to a loan officer on the telephone. It's almost worthless. What you want to do is to meet with somebody and actually sit down with them. They need to check your credit, do some verifications, do the math, sit down with you, and there are so many different ways of financing. We're going to talk about some zero down ways and so forth that you really need a pre-approval. Now, there are certain reasons why you want to have a pre-approval letter by the time that you make an offer on a property. Number one, it prevents frustrations when you're looking for properties, because you know you're looking within a range of a price that you can afford. Secondly, your offer is much more readily accepted if you have a pre-approval letters. Many sellers have been burned, and they will not even consider an offer unless there is a pre-approval letter. Next, and even in this market, when you do get a property that's a bargain and priced right, you may and sometimes do have multiple offers. It gives you the edge if you have a good pre-approval letter. And then next, it gives you a faster close and a lot less hassle. Now, we're going to talk about credit report, but first of all, I want to talk about zero down programs. What kind of zero down programs are there? There are a dozen of them that are very popular right now. Maybe you've heard they're not available anymore. Maybe you've heard, well, the Nehemiah program went away and there are no zero down programs. No. There are a lot of them. In fact, I was in a class just this morning talking about 6 of them. So there are several. One of them, if you're a veteran, you can have zero down, zero closing, called a 0-0. There is the USDA program. USDA, just like USDA grade A beef. And if you like rural living, these are mostly out of the inner cities, and they're on the fringes and in the rural areas. You can get zero down in any of these boundary areas. A fantastic deal. You can get some great properties this way. There's what's called gift letters. There's Home Path. There's the House Key Plus, and various ways that will give you from $10,000 down payment assistance to up to $45,000 down payment assistance. There, one overlooked way, greatly overlooked, is to use the 203K, in which you can, for instance, I know of a home right now that's for sale for $120,000, and it's in a neighborhood where homes are running $200,000 to $225,000. You could go 203K streamlined, and it will allow you to put $30,000 into that home. So you can take this home that's being offered for $120,000. You can put in, it's like a new home, totally new carpet. You can put in new counters, new paint. You can make it, decorate it how you want, and then that home is worth so much more. You can build instant equity. It's a way of becoming an investor with your very first home. So there are a lot of different programs that are fantastic in buying homes today. So don't let people tell you that there aren't any zero down programs. I have a lot of them in my pocket. Be happy to help you with them. Question, I'm trying to answer questions as we go, trying to anticipate things that people may wonder about. One of those is, what about lease-to-own programs? That may be something that would be right for you, but with the interest rates so low and with so many zero down and other programs available, you really don't need that today. Besides which, if you're going to get into that, you're really going to want to see an attorney and be very cautious, very careful, because you want to make sure that they don't lien the property, that there are just some dangers with it. So beware, be careful. Now, there are 5, let's talk about credit score itself. There are 5 elements that make up what your credit score is. The first is your payment history. That's 35% of your credit score. So if you want a good credit score, and I'll show you in a few moments how much that does matter, you want to make your payments on time all the time. That is crucial. Next is to keep your credit balances down. If you have credit cards, for instance, keep the balances under 30%, not just total, but on each card. Then next, 15% is your credit history. How long have you had this card and that card and this line of credit and so forth. The type of credit, some is better than others, some counts better than others, and 10% inquiries. And so these are the 5 elements of a credit report. Now, what I want you to see here is that you have different credit. Your credit score is going to range from, well, less than, it's going to go for like less than 600 to over 800. But let's look at these right here. If your credit score is, say, less than 619, it's high risk. But I have good news for you. I know lenders that are still making loans on a lot of these good programs at 600 and even 580 credit score. 580, 600, 620, you can still get in on some of the good loan programs. 620, 660, it says on this chart uncertain. No, it's not uncertain, not when it comes to buying a home today. Now, average and acceptable credit, these are where credit is. If you've got 750, 800 and above, you're gold-plated, and you can set your interest rate. I mean, you're going to be great, but don't get discouraged. Get in the game. If you have a low credit score, usually that can be fixed. Usually we can get you into something, and at least you get in the game while the interest rates are low. So the credit score is something that we can determine, something that we can work with usually. How are credit scores ranked? Here's a very interesting chart, I think. Now, notice, if you will, please, the two middle, the 27% and the 20%. This doesn't have a lot to do with buying a home. I just want to point something out to you, that this middle 47% are the ones that the credit cards go after, because the 1% and the 12%, those that are, 500s in their credit and so forth, they are not good risk for the credit card companies. And those that are 750 and above, they don't usually get a lot of credit card offers in the mail. For what reason? Why is that? Because the credit card companies want this middle range of people. They're not high risk, but they're just enough of a risk that once they're given the card, they might run over limit, extra fees. They're going to have to accept a higher interest rate, more money to the banks. And so that's the way our financial system's working. Doesn't really have too much to do with purchasing a home, but it does show you where the credit does play a part. So you need to work on your credit and paying everything on time. Now, I'm going to give you next time 7 definite no-nos you cannot do, and I'm going to give you 7 or 8 ways to build your credit score. So right now, before we get to that next time, I want to show you how much credit matters. For instance, look at the FICO score of 500. This is a scenario here just for illustrative purposes. The payment, $1,651. Now look, if the credit score is 720, look at the payment, $500 a month less. Does credit score matter? You betcha it does, because look what you pay, $394,000, almost $400,000 in interest over the life of a loan, versus about half of that if you have the better credit score. So I encourage you to do the things I'm going to teach you next session to have and to keep a high credit score. Now, here is the addresses of the 3 major credit bureaus. I would suggest that you write them, or you can email them. You can get these online. You can either write them, or you can fax them, you can call them, or you can even get them online. If you have been denied credit, they have to give you a credit report, and you are allowed to go to them once a year and get it for free or just a nominal charge, and they will give you your credit report. Now, that may not show your credit score, but next time we're going to talk about credit scores and the couple of little tricks that's going to help you in the purchase of your home. So next time, it's getting your credit score up, it's improving it, it's keeping it better, and a few little tricks of the trade. So I will see you in part 4 in just a few minutes, or when you get time to come back to the next video. See you then.